Hey peeps, Amma here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's 2022. I hope you guys have been having a great one so far. I would like to wish you a prosperous year ahead. As for us, we are starting the year with all about finances. So if you guys would like to know more about how to get your finances right this year, to be specific, we're going to be focusing on 3 videos. It's going to be a series just about finances. So today, video 1 will be about property and how especially black professionals can buy property, whether it's a good idea to buy property. I think this is a great time of the year to be talking about how property can benefit you as a young black professional. So this is going to be the topic for today. I will introduce our guest just after this. And the very same guest will also be joining us for all the 3 videos. The next video will be about whether insurance is a scam. I think it's quite nice at the beginning of the year to know how to manage your money as well, whether it's worth paying for insurance or not. So it's quite great to know whether you may as well just save your money on insurance. But you find out about that on our next video. And then the last video on this series on finances will be about black tax. So you can find out how black tax is affecting you if you have to worry about black tax, whether is it a good thing or not. But we'll establish all that on the last video on the series, which is the 3rd one. So without wasting any more time, we're going to introduce our guest who is going to be helping us with the 3 series on finances. So stay tuned. Joining me for today's conversation is Hulisani Matodzi, who is an accountant and he's very passionate about finance. That's why I've invited him to share his knowledge on finance with us today and the other videos, like I indicated earlier, that we'll be posting on finances. So Hulisani, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Abba, for inviting me, and I'm hoping that these videos will be educational and they will help your viewers with the financial knowledge that I'll be sharing.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So, Hulisani, I know today I've invited you for us to discuss about buying property, specifically buying a house as a black professional in South Africa. Just my first question to you is, this is something that I've always just also wondered, really. Is buying a house necessary, or a person can really just get away with just renting for the rest of their lives?
Yeah, well, the answer to the question is it depends.
Yeah.
For some people, it's actually going to be beneficial for them to buy a house right now. Some they will need to do it later.
Yeah.
But the part where can anyone get away with renting for life, yeah. I think it is possible, but it wouldn't be advisable for somebody to rent for the rest of their lives, because it's got implications about it.
Yeah.
For example, I mean, it's the people who are maybe our parents' age, who didn't buy a property 30 years ago.
Yeah.
In a place like in the city of Cape Town or other places in South Africa, you would find that now 30 years later, if they were to buy a similar type of house, today they would pay about 2 or 3 times
than they would have back then.
Yes. So the option of renting for life, you lose out on this appreciating value of houses. But then when it comes to buying, I think the decision around buying, it will depend on the circumstances of an individual and the stage of life where they are, and it will determine whether it's a good thing to buy now or later.
Yeah.
And for example, in short, so if somebody doesn't want to have kids in a flat, It might mean that they need to rent now for the foreseeable future, and when they're ready to have kids, then they can buy a house that will suit their needs, as compared to buying now because the prices are low, and then only to find out that the type of property they bought doesn't fit the needs, of their family setting at a certain point.
That's true. So it's up to what you're facing now, and then you also kind of have to think of the future. What would you like? Would you like kids? And then that will obviously inform whether you're buying a house and what kind of house you're buying as well. So I like that. But then what about buying and then rent it out?
Yes, buying and renting out has been a strategy that has been used for a long time, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, for example, if you're in a situation where the rental that you're receiving from the property that you bought is too low or too insignificant compared to the rent that you're paying where you're staying, now you end up being out of pocket. So you have to top up like about 6,000-7,000 for your own property, but the rent you're getting from the new one can't cover the bond and the cost on that one. So simple answer is that assess the numbers. If you're able to get a property that you can rent out, and then that rent pays for all your rates and taxes, and it pays for your bond, then it's good. You can even stay somewhere, rent, and then eventually that property will become a good asset in the long run.
Yes, because I mean, property, can one ever go wrong though with property? Because I understand every year property is appreciating, and so it looks like it can be a great investment, right?
Yes, the general saying that no one can go wrong with property is correct to an extent. There are people who lose out in the process, but the number of people who loses out in property, it's so small that it's negligible. So overall, it's one of the safest investments that you can have, especially when you're looking at the long term, where we don't know what could happen in the economy.
Wow, great, of course, let's talk about black professionals. I mean, we're in South Africa now, and we know that majority of the populations are black. And so, looking at a young black professional who probably just started working and is thinking of buying a house, what advice do you have to share with them so that they can make the most of their decision of buying property?
Yes, to young black professionals, my advice about property would be do your work, do your research. Because the first important thing when it comes to buying property is that your good credit is worth more than gold, especially on your first property. Is that when you have a good credit record, you're able to secure a home loan that has an interest that is so favorable that you will be investing more into repaying your house than paying the bank for the interest with a good credit record. So that's the first and foremost thing, is that even when you're just thinking of buying a year or two from now, now is the time to start thinking, how do I work on my credit record to make sure that when that time comes, I'm ready. So that's the first thing. The second thing.
But before you go to the second thing, sorry, I have to interrupt you here. Do you perhaps have maybe just 2 tips? How can one work on having a good credit record?
Yes. So working on a good credit record, for those who have just started working and they've been working for like a year or two, is that even if you get like a clothing account and run it for a year and then pay it off, there you've already started creating a record, and then have your cell phone contract and make sure that it's paid on time. Because the adverse is that going to get the credit, trying to make sure you build a good credit record, and then you miss a payment, and then all debit orders count against you. So go out, take out credit, but within the bounds of what you can afford to honor those payments on a monthly basis.
Exactly. Great one. Okay, so thanks a lot for that. I think that's spot on. Do you mind just continuing with the tips on Yes.
So another tip for somebody who's looking to buy a property and you're young and just started working is that we just need to know that buying a house, when buying a house, you don't necessarily buy the bricks and the mortar that you're seeing.
Yeah.
You're buying the location.
Oh yeah.
You buying this so the sort of like neighborhood. You're buying even if you're buying in a complex, you're buying also your neighbor on the
yeah,
left,
that's true.
on the right.
Yeah.
So those are the most important things, because something simple as a neighbor can make you sell your house within a year, and when you're just not happy with
that's true.
how they are, loud noise, parties at night and stuff like that. So as much as going to view the property is important, also look around, see what's close by, find out what schools are close by.
That's good.
Is the nearest Woolworth or Pick and Pay closer, or you're gonna have to drive 15 to 30 minutes and things. And in wholesome, those things combined with a big lounge or nice bathroom, those factors then affect your decision on what and how you decide on buying that property.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, so that means it shouldn't be a rushed decision. From what I'm getting here is that take your time, do the necessary research, do the necessary, visits as well. And so, but then maybe some things are probably things that you can't avoid. Thinking of the neighbor, because it's a great one as well. So how do you get to know if your neighbor is loud if you've just been viewing your house for like a day or 2 days? But I guess it's a tricky one, right?
Yeah, so the key to that is talking to people, because the only person we talk to when you buy a house is the agent or the owner, and that person is not likely going to tell you everything that counts against them on the sale.
True.
But when walking around the complex and you meet people, greet them, find out how they talk to you, and if you know somebody who lives around the area, it's also a good thing to to just have a chat with them about that complex, how is it staying,
and how's my neighbor,
yes, and things like those, and that can really help in terms of thinking to make that offer and take the property.
Wow, those are awesome tips right there. Amazing. Okay, this is my last question. For black professionals, well, this is what I gathered from interacting with different black professionals. I guess I'm one of them as well, young black professional. It appears that most of them are finding it difficult to buy property. Maybe do you mind sharing with us, why do you think it's difficult for young black professionals to buy property?
Yeah, so it all boils down to wealth, and us as black young professionals, we don't have old wealth that our parents and grandparents had. So we don't have that starting base anymore. And as black professionals, that means you're starting from scratch. I mean, we just spoke about starting some sort of a good credit record, which the other race already has that sorted out. By the time they are varsity, they had a car that the parents gave them, and they have insurance running on day, and they're doing things that keeps their credit profile active. So we don't have a starting base and access to funding. So the bond that you apply for, that's where most of us are struggling, is that banks are very strict on giving a bond, especially to first-time buyers. You're the first graduate in your family, and when they ask you for a list of expenses, you've got school fees for a younger brother or something like that.
You've got that's black tax, which we'll talk to on our third video.
Yes, so when they see those things on your income and they see how much is left, then they're gonna either do two things. They're either not gonna honor your request for the loan, or they'll give you a loan but with extremely high interest, which just goes into putting you even more down than the background that you come from. So access to that bond and having everything approved and stuff. And also because they want a deposit. And a deposit, if you're in Cape Town, when you're talking about a good deposit, you're talking about 120 to 150,000 rand on the day that you put your signature.
That's a lot.
And most of us, we're not able to afford that. So So with an accessible bond market and the ability to just go out there, you know, show them the security in terms of the income that you're earning, it should be, in theory, easier for you to get access to that bond. But as things stand now, it's not been that easy.
Yeah, well, for sure. Wow. Hulisani, you are amazing. Now I see why you even started your own YouTube channel. You have so much to share, and I think the world needs to hear this, especially South Africans. You are doing great, and again, I'm going to put a link to Hulisani's YouTube channel in the description below. Please make sure to visit his YouTube channel. The name of the YouTube channel is Epic Financial Solutions, so please be sure to check it out. He shares a lot of information on finances and how to get you started and get you flourishing within the finance industry. So this is it for us from us for today, and Hulisani, you're going to be joining us on our next video where we'll be talking about insurance, whether insurance is a scam or not. So please be sure to tune in on our next video to find out more about that. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and share with your friends as well. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.